Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Dr. John Stewart on behalf of Lost Sheep Ministry, sponsored by Elysian Grove Community Church, here to bring out another one from lesson, the last one of the year, y'all. This is the last one of the year, the last lesson of the year, and Lord willing, next week I'll be bringing out a new lesson in the new year next week, but the last one of the year, but bring you another wonderful lesson on how to be a proper Christian. I do apologize. I was trying to do it at 7, because once I get done with this, I still got to go to the jails and preach tonight as well. So it's gonna be a long day for your boy, but it's okay because I'm off for like the next 5 days, so I need to rest up a little bit. So I'll try to do it at 7. But I was just as I was getting through this lesson, it kind of took a different way than I was initially thought it was gonna go, and I didn't want to rush it. I could have had went on and rush it and finish it up and been here at 7, but I didn't want to rush it. This lesson here is kind of near and dear to my heart. Very important. So I didn't want to rush it. So I'll just take an extra few minutes, and if people don't catch it live, they can catch it later on my page, which is what most people do anyway. But I do apologize for waiting. I did post it on my page. I was gonna do it a little bit later. I hope y'all saw that, but I hope you wasn't waiting for me and like, where is this guy at? But wanted to bring this lesson tonight. Didn't get to do it last night as well. I got a dear friend of mine, actually a mentor, helped me with my professional career. Got some news this weekend that his family said that he was on hospice and they didn't know how long he was gonna make it, kind of thing. And he went home on hospice yesterday, and I could have been like, well, I'll just go ahead and do the live and go visit him the next day. But a situation like that, you don't know if he's gonna have that next day. So that's why I didn't do it last night, because I went to visit with my friend and talk to him. I'm so grateful that I did. He's a good church man and everything, but wasn't 100% sure about his salvation and his family. I didn't really ask his family, but I did share the gospel with him. He just wanted to make sure. I mean, you going through that door, and I tell people that all the time. You want to make sure. It's not necessarily said he wasn't, but he definitely wanted to make sure. And I got to share the gospel with him, his wife, and his two daughters. I mean, his daughters, a couple of granddaughters, and man, it was a blessing. It was a beautiful thing, and they all asked the Lord the same last night. So if they wasn't saved before last night, they definitely was last night. So it was definitely worth it. I apologize about y'all if I threw your schedule off, but I am here tonight to bring out a lesson, and I still got to go into jail as well. So I'm a busy bee. But I appreciate y'all for being here. And again, Brother John Stewart, on behalf of Lost Sheep Ministries, here to bring y'all another, sponsored by Elysian Grove Community Church, here to bring y'all another lesson on how to be a proper Christian. And again, I got all this stuff going on. I went with my friend last night. I'm with y'all here tonight, and I also got to go to jail because tomorrow we having what we call a watch night service. So it's where we're going to meet at the church about 7 o'clock at the church, and we're going to have a church service, and that's how we're going to end our year. We're going to end the year off at end the year and start the year off at thinking about the Lord. So we're going to be at church from 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So man, if y'all ain't got nothing to do tomorrow night, or what I'm saying, you want to start your year, end your year, and start your year off the right way, that's the best way to do it. I've been doing it for the last 10, 11 years, and I'm telling you, it's a magnificent thing to do. Best way to start your year off, thinking about the Lord. So if you don't want to go downtown and have to deal with the drunk people and the trafficking and all that, or you just want something else to do because you've done that every year and your year still don't seem to go quite right, come down and holler at us, man. 5891 Bakerville Road. If you're in the Waverly area, come spend the evening with us. It ain't going to be all preaching. We're going to be there. We're going to watch some movies. We're going to play some games. We're going to sing some songs. We're going to do some eating. And we're going to hang out and play some games, do some eating, and sing some songs. We're going to do some eating. There's going to be a lot of eating going on. And my wife, she's getting everything prepared right now. So if you're in the area, please come out. Elysian Grove Community Church, 5891 Bakerville Road. Come out and hang with us tomorrow night. And again, best way to end your year and the best way to start your year. I've been doing it for the last 11 years. Doing this for the last 11 years and with my previous church, and this is the first time I could have one myself, and I didn't want to lose that because my last 11 years have been pretty great. That's why I'm here with you guys. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the lesson, and I hope you all are having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope y'all had a good Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got exactly what I expected to get, my lump of coal from Santa. So I'm cool with it because I understand what it is. And I ain't got no beef with Santa, nothing like that. I just know what it is. But no, man, it was good. I actually got to do nothing. And y'all can tell, like, from my schedule today, like, I'm always doing something. So really, for me to get to a point where I just don't have nothing to do, that's good for me. I'm all about that. So with that being said, we're going to be in 2 Corinthians. If y'all was here with me last week, you know, we actually finished up chapter 7, 2 Corinthians chapter 7. So we're almost done. It's 13 chapters in 2 Corinthians. And so we're almost done, and we'll move on to another series. I think I know where I'm going to go after I finish up this series, and I hope I ain't bored y'all with it, but I hope this series has really helped you all, and some things that you maybe dealt with or didn't know about and didn't quite understand. I hope that these series have helped you understand what God really wants us to do and what we should be doing and what we should be focusing on, so we can truly be a proper Christian and do our part to build His kingdom. So we're going to start chapter 8 tonight, and actually chapter 8 ain't going to have many points in it. We're going to probably breeze through chapter 8, maybe 2-3 weeks here, because matter of fact, the text verses, a majority of chapter 8, the whole chapter 8, except for like the last 9 verses, is in our text verse tonight, because it's all talking about the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and read the text verse so we can pray, so we can jump into this lesson, so I don't have to hold y'all any longer than I have to, especially with it not being on my normal night in the first place. But I'm with you. If y'all want to take your Bibles out and you want to read along, again, I'm in 2 Corinthians chapter 8. It's going to be verses 1 through 15. So we got a whole 15 verse instead of the normally 1 to 2 verses. And I'll be reading out the New Living Translation, and I always tell people, especially if you're new, if you never watched my videos before, I'm a wholehearted King James believer. That's what I read. That's what I preach out of the church. But this is an informal Bible study, so I always do out the New Living Translation. Just makes it easier for me to preach and make sure you understand what's being said. So with that being said, I'm going to read to you 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 1 through 15. So in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, the Lord tells us this. He said, "Now, I want to tell you, dear brothers and sisters, what God in His kindness has done for the churches in Macedonia. Though they have been going through much trouble and hard times, their wonderful joy and deep poverty have overflowed in rich generosity." And put a pin in that. Make sure y'all remember that. "For I can testify that they gave not only what they could afford, but far more, and they did it of their own free will. They begged us again and again for the gracious privilege of sharing in the gift of the Christians in Jerusalem. Best of all, they went beyond our highest hopes, for their first action was to dedicate themselves to the Lord and to us for whatever direction God might give them. So we have urged Titus, who encouraged your giving in the first place, to return to you and encourage you to complete your share in this ministry of giving. Since you excel in so many ways, you have so much faith, such gifted speakers, such knowledge, such enthusiasm, and such love for us. Now I want you to excel also in this gracious ministry of giving. I am not saying you must do it, even though the other churches are eager to do it. This is one way to prove your love is real." Remember that. Put a pin in that too. You know how full of love and kindness our Lord Jesus Christ was. Though He was very rich, yet for your sakes He became poor, so that by His poverty He could make you rich. I suggest that you finish what you started a year ago, for you were the first to propose this idea, and you were the first to begin doing something about it. Now, you should carry this project through to completion just as enthusiastically as you began it. Give whatever you can according to what you have, and if you are really eager to give, it isn't important how much you are able to give. God wants you to give what you have, not what you don't have. Of course, I don't mean you should give so much that you suffer from having too little. I only mean that there should be some equality. Right now you have plenty and can help them. Then at some other time, they can share with you when you need it. In this way, everyone's needs will be met. Do you remember what the scriptures say about this? Those who gathered a lot had nothing left over, and those who gather only a little had enough. Let's pray. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for watching over tonight. Thank you so much for always giving us the opportunity to get in this word, Lord, and get to having this platform and having the freedom to be able to get in your word and share your truths, Lord. And a lot of people don't realize, a lot of us Christians don't realize how spoiled we are in this country because we can't do that everywhere. Everybody can't just jump on their phone and hear your word, Lord. There's a lot of restrictions going on, a lot of persecution going on if they do these things, but we're able to do it freely. And I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity to do that. And I'm so grateful that you would use me to share this word with your people and this little flock that you've blessed me with. So as I go through this lesson tonight, Lord, I pray you just be with me and let your spirit shine, your spirit come upon me, Lord, and just work through my heart so I can bring forth this truth, this really wonderful truth that I'm going to bring forth here tonight. I pray that you just give me the spirit to do so, the strength and encouragement I need to do so. And I pray that you let your spirit work on the hearts of those that's listening to the video, whether they listen to it live or they listen to it later on, Lord. I pray you put it on their heart so they may take in these words, they may take in this wisdom, and they may use it for the edification of themselves and others in their world. As always, Lord, we want your spirit to guide this session. We want your spirit to use me, and we want your spirit to use this time to draw others closer to you and help them learn what they need to learn so they can be proper Christians, so they can do the work that you have for them to do. Thank you for this time tonight. Thank you for your word, and thank you for this opportunity to get into it. And we say this prayer in your wonderful son, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let me get some of this high quality H2O. All right. So again, we've been in the series for quite some time now. How to be a proper Christian. Well, we've been here for quite some time, and we are right at the end of it, y'all. Just bear with me, but I'm hoping it's good. Nobody's complaining. Nobody's like, hey man, let's switch to something else. So I'm assuming y'all are getting help from it, and I know I get help by it even when I put these lessons together. As I'm putting these lessons together, sometimes the Lord just revealed things to me that I didn't even think about before as I read them. So it's been a blessing to me, and we've been doing these lessons for quite some time. So like I said, last week we finished up chapter 7. The last point of chapter 7, it was the point was having a welcoming presence, and I talked about how important it is for to have that welcoming spirit. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be able to lead people to the Lord, they got to be willing to talk to you. They can't be scared of you, afraid to talk to you. If you're walking around, you know what I'm saying, looking mean mugging all the time and just scaring people away, that you can't, you know what I'm saying, you can't share the gospel with them. You got to have that welcoming spirit so they be willing to come talk to you. And once they're willing to come talk to you, and you can win them to you, then you can win them to the Lord as well. So that's what we talked about. If that sound of interest to you, go back. I actually didn't do that last week. That was 2 weeks ago when I did that lesson. Last week I shared the significance of the birth of Christ. You know, but if you want to go back, both of those are still on my Facebook for right now. Or if you want to find them, you can go to my YouTube page by going through my website, lostsheepministries.com. So that was last week's lesson. A couple of weeks ago lesson as we was going through the series. And now we're going to look at another lesson. Now, y'all know this out of this whole series, I've done a lot of sermons. Like I said, we've been here for a while. I don't even know the number of sermons I brought to y'all, how many hours I've spent in these book of 1 Corinthians, between 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians. But out of this whole series and all the sermons that I've done from it, and it's been, like I said, it's been a lot of them, I think this particular topic right here and this sermon that we're going to get into tonight is my favorite so far. I think this is one going to be my favorite so far. And I'm not saying it's the best one out of all of them, because I don't like to compare them, because all of them are good for whatever particular subject that we was covering that night. All of them can help people. So I'm not saying it's the best one, and I'm not even saying it's the most important one. I'm saying this is my favorite one out of all the ones I've shared so far. And the reason being is because this particular topic is near and dear to my heart. And I kind of mentioned that a little bit ago. It's near and dear to my heart. And in order to back up this truth, I got to reminisce about some of the wonderful things that has been done for me in my life. You know, and I got to sit back and think about the things that people have done for me in my life. And that's why I love this topic that we're going to talk about here tonight, because it's very important to help me get to where I'm at. Some of the very things that helped me get into become the man I am today, help me get to the level that I'm on now, the things that I'm able to do, is because of this topic that we're talking about here tonight. And that's why I say it's not the best one, it's not my it's not the most important one, but it is my favorite one, because this right here, this topic that we're going to talk about tonight, is near and dear to my heart, because again, it has really impacted my life, and y'all know what I'm talking about when I get there. Now, I do have a bit of a long introduction, so y'all have to bear with me, because I want to show you something. I want to build up to this thing, and I'm gonna go in. You're like, what this got to do with anything? Just bear with me. I got a little bit of a long introduction, but it's gonna all make sense if you can make it to the end. Now, as y'all undoubtedly know, If you watched any of my videos or any of my lessons before, you know that I was born and raised in North Memphis, Tennessee. North, you know what I'm saying? Got to throw that thumb up. North. And I say you probably know because, like I said, if you watched any of my videos before, I'm always trying to find ways to mention the fact that I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, like I just did right there in that little intro. Now, a lot of people from Memphis do this. They do it, but they do it for a different reason than I do. A lot of people brag on being from Memphis, and I'm from South Memphis, West Memphis, Orange Mound. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people brag on being from Memphis, but they do it for a different reason than what I do it. See, most of them do it as a way of bragging to show how gangster they are because they survived the grimy streets of Memphis. So there's most of them when they throwing that Memphis out there. I'm from this side of Memphis, this part of Memphis, whatever. When they throwing it out there, it's more of in a way to brag because they was able to survive the grimy streets of Memphis, which they are grimy. You know what I'm saying? So for them, it's more like a badge of honor, so to speak, that gives them kind of like some kind of bragging rights. So that's why a lot of them do it. But me, I do it because I really love my city. That's why I'm always throwing out there because I really love my city. Well, actually, I can't say I love the whole city because there are certain parts of the city I don't mess with. I don't go in, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to live. Not that I don't mess with, I just don't go in certain parts of the city. I don't go in. If you know Memphis, you know what I'm talking about. You only got certain parts you can go in, depending on where you from. And in certain parts I don't go in. Not that I don't mess with, I just don't go in them because I want to live. So specifically, I love my old neighborhood. So let me say that I love my city, but I specifically love my old neighborhood, and it's changed a lot now. So I'm not as I'm almost embarrassed to say I'm from North Memphis, where I'm at in North Memphis now. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm trying to use it for bragging rights. I'm almost embarrassed because you go over there now, man, they done fixed it up. It's close to downtown. So now they've made it like uptown. And it's all nice. And you go out there and people walking their dogs and all people jogging up and down the road. I'm like, what is it? And I went back, I'm like, what is this? Like I got robbed right there. You know what I'm saying? But now they've made it nice. So if I am trying to use it for bragging rights, I'm almost embarrassed to say I'm from there. You know, but when I was there, when I was living there, right there, when I was living there, you know what I'm saying? Right, because I was living there right after the crack epidemic came through. So it was I was back there in the early 80s. You know, I was born in 79, so I was in the early 80s. So I saw it go from this nice, just good, you know, black neighborhood to what it was, and it ended up being really terrible. So again, when I was there, I was right after that crack hit. It was rough. It was rough because we was only a block away from one of the most dangerous projects in Memphis, not just North Memphis, in Memphis. It was called Hertz Village. That's the name of it. It was called Hertz Village. And I know Hertz was probably some other name of some famous person or something, but you went over there, you got hurt. You know what I'm saying? It was called Hertz Village. So the neighborhood I stayed in, we was only a block away from Hertz Village. So a lot of the bad elements from that project in Hertz Village, you know what I'm saying, seeped over into our neighborhood, and it kind of seeped over into our neighborhood, and that made our neighborhood bad. Not to mention the grocery store stuff was on the other side of Hertz Village. So if you want to go to Kroger's or Chisholm Trail, I think we had a Chisholm Trail over there at one point. If you want to go to Kroger, Chisholm Trail, when I had to go to school, I had to walk through Hertz Village. So it was a lot of that same, negative energy, a lot of that violence and all that stuff that come with the projects that we had to deal with because we're so close to the project. And though it became one of the dirtiest and unforgiving and most violent areas in the city, I still loved it. I still love that city, that neighborhood, and to be honest, I still love it to today. You know what I'm saying? I still love it to today. Now, for the past 22 years, I've been working amongst my white Caucasian brethren and sisters, and you know what I'm saying? And something that I've noticed that they are infatuated with is why niggas is so infatuated with the hood. Like, they cannot figure out, like, why is black people so infatuated with the hood? Like, they don't see it. And they can't wrap their mind around why black people, the black people loyalty to the hood. Because if you look at outside looking in, it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? They don't know, so they don't get it, and they just can't wrap their mind around the fact that black people are so loyal to a hood, a place that from the outside looking in is probably one of the most horrible places you ever want to be, or probably one of the most horrible. It looks like one of the most horrible places that you ever want to look, end up in. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at all the violence and the filth on the streets, because they're usually lacking. Most hoods is usually lacking on the upkeep. So the buildings are, half the buildings are demolished, half of them just abandoned. abandoned. It's trash everywhere. It's bottles everywhere. Kids don't really have a nice, clean place to play. You know what I'm saying? And just really overall, it's a grim environment. That is what most hoods seem to be. So that's why people, you know what I'm saying, when I work with like I said, my Caucasian brothers and sisters, they can't even understand, like, why do they love this place so much? Why do black people love, why are they so obsessed? They can't understand how can we be so obsessed and so loyal with the hood and with being hood, to the point where dudes would get money and they'll get to leave and still try to go back and out of loyalty to the hood and get killed trying to show how hood they still are. I mean, we saw that happen with Young Dolph and several other rappers and places like that. Young Dolph, it happened with Young Dolph, just famous ones that I know of. Young Dolph, what's the guy from California? Nipsey Hussle, it happened with him. So it's like, most people like, man, if I got money and I escape it, I'm going to go. Why do they keep coming back? And I get asked that all the time, like, why do they keep coming back? Why don't they just stay away? They don't have to be there. Why go there? So that it don't make sense to them. You know what I'm saying? So it don't make sense. You got the guys that get rich and they rich enough to leave the hood, but they go back. Or you got the kids that maybe grew up in a nice 2-parent household and they lived in the suburbs and don't know nothing about being hood, but instead knowing that they got a good family but they got family members in the hood as well. And instead of following the footsteps of their mom and dad and their successful parents, what they try to do, they try to be hood. They follow their hood cousins examples and end up getting in trouble and end up getting caught up in some mess in the hood. So it's I can understand on the outside looking in, like, why is that? And that's what like I said, my Caucasian brothers and sisters ask me all the time, like, I don't understand, like, why are they so obsessed with the hood? Like, why are they want them to just leave and not go back? That's a terrible place. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it makes no sense, but it makes no sense to those that's on the outside looking in. And you know, I keep saying the outside looking in. See, the thing you have to understand about the hood is everyone in there is there. Everyone in the hood, most of the people in the hood is in the hood because they have to be there. All right, this is going somewhere. Most of the people that's in the hood are in the hood because they have to be there. Now, there's always some exceptions to the rule. There's always maybe a few people in the hood where, you know, that maybe they bought that house before it got bad. I know that's what happened to me and my grandma. My grandmother, she bought the house before it got bad, and then the hood just collapsed around her, so to speak. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe you got a few of them that maybe they bought their house, they worked hard and worked their fingers to the bone, and they finally got enough money to buy them some land and buy them a house, and that was their first house, and they ain't gonna let nobody run them off of their property. You know what I'm saying? You have that. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was good at first, it eventually got bad, and they just refused to leave because they established their home there, and they raised their kids there, so they don't want to leave. So you have that happen, but that's only maybe 5 to 10% of the people that's in the hood that they can, you know what I'm saying, they can accept, they have that exception to the rule. That's only about 5% of the people in the hood, but the other overwhelming majority are there because they have to be there, because that's the only place they can afford to live. You see what I'm saying? So most people in the hood are in the hood out of poverty. Ain't nobody bringing in 6 or 7 figures and they move it to the hood. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. Now they might ride through, or like I said, might go visit an old friend or cousin or something, but it ain't nobody making 6 or 7 figures and they stand in the hood. That's not how it works. They get that money and they run, kind of like I did. I didn't get the money and run, but when I left and I saw it was other things out there, I didn't go back. You know what I'm saying? I go back and visit, and I go visit my family and stuff, but I don't hang out there like some of those guys try to show how hood they is. You know what I'm saying? We have an event, I go, but I see my people and I keep it pushing, because you can die. You know what I'm saying? You can die. But most people in the hood is because they have to be there. So that being said, most people are there because they have to be there. They're there because of their poverty. So most are on some kind of like government assistance or some kind of subsidized housing or something like that. So most don't bring enough money in to even get them over the poverty line. And that's why they have to stay in the hood, because they're poor. There ain't no easy way to do it. There ain't no point in beating around the bush. They have to be there because that's the only place they can afford to live. So most people are in the hood because they're poor. But though a majority of the people in the hood are there because they're broke, yet you will still see people giving to each other and taking care of each other in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And it's a strange thing. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I didn't understand it when I was younger, what was going on. You know what I'm saying? But it's a strange thing. Even though everybody there is broke and everybody there is poor, everybody there is still taking care of each other. Everybody there and still giving to each other. And you can only see this if you're on the inside. And that's why, if you're on the outside, you can't see the beauty of the hood. And that's why it don't make sense to a lot of my Caucasian brothers and sisters, because they don't really see the beauty of the hood. Because when you think about the hood, when you hear about the hood, you're only hearing the bad stuff. You're only hearing about the violence. You're only hearing about the drug dealing. You're only hearing about the killing. You know what I'm saying? But there are good things in the hood. There is actually a lot of genuine love in the hood. You see what I'm saying? Because if you on the inside, it's one of the most beautiful things you'll see when you live in the hood, and you see these people that's in poverty, but yet they giving to others out of their poverty. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, not only is the most beautiful thing you ever see, it's not only that, it's one of the most purest form, and I can't say pure, that's the Memphis for me. It's one of the purest forms of love that you'll ever receive. It's one of the most purest form, man, I can't say that word, purest. That the Memphis, it don't matter how long I've been out professional, I still that Memphis slip out of me every now and again. But again, if you live in the hood, on the inside of the hood, it's one of the most beautiful things you ever see, and it's the purest form of love that you will ever receive. That ever. You know what I'm saying? And that's why niggas are so obsessed with the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because even amongst the chaos, there's a genuine love there. There really is genuine love in the hood. You might think not, because the way most of us treat each other and the way we always killing each other and shooting and all the violence is going on. But reality, like I said, that's on the outside of it. And yes, that stuff happens. But, living in the hood, as somebody that lived in the hood for 17 years of my life, I'm telling you, there's genuine love in the hood. Because the thing is, and this is why I say it's genuine love in the hood, it's easy to give to other people when you got plenty. When you got a lot, it's no problem throwing somebody a couple of dollars off the top. It ain't going to break you. It ain't going to hurt you. You probably ain't going to even think about it. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? You got billions of dollars. Throwing somebody $5,000 ain't going to hurt you at all. You know what I'm saying? They probably like giving somebody $5. So it's easy to give and help people when you got plenty. You know what I'm saying? But when you're broke, when you broke, when you living in poverty, when you under that poverty line and you barely bringing in enough to pay your bills, you barely bringing enough to keep your lights on, you barely bringing enough to keep your water on, you barely bringing enough to have food in your refrigerator. When you live in the hood and you living in that poverty, when you broke and you give to others, you're literally taking food out of your own mouth. And if you got family, then you're probably taking food out of your family mouth as well to help somebody else that's not in your family. See what I'm saying? That's genuine love. And I'm gonna tell you something, you can go to the hood, yes, you're gonna find violence, yes, you're gonna find the trash and filth and all that, but something else you'll find a hood full of people that's willing to share with you what little they have. That's why it's so much love there. That's why so much love there, because they understand, even though they have little, they understand that though they have it bad, you got it worse. And though they have it bad, you got it worse, so they will give you a little out of the little they have. And that's the purest form of love right there. That's the purest form of love right there, because again, they're not giving you out of their abundance, they're giving you out of their poverty. And you have to truly love somebody to know that I'm going to give you this. And because I give you this, yes, you're going to get to eat today. But I'm going to get to eat today, but I might not get to eat tomorrow, because the money I just gave you was the money I was going to have to eat tomorrow. But I'm willing to do this so we can both have something to eat today, and we'll worry about tomorrow later. That's the hood mentality. That's the love that's in the hood. And I've had people do that for me several times. You know what I'm saying? I barely had food. They barely had food, but they gave me a little bit out of what they had. So again, it's the purest form of love that you will find. And see, Jesus taught us that. You're like, well, why would you say that? Jesus himself taught us that. Y'all remember there was a situation in the Bible where Jesus was sitting at the temple. And he was sitting at the temple, and he was watching people come up to the temple, and they was throwing their money in, and they was ringing the bells, and they was making these big grand gestures, and you had all these fat cats and these rich guys, and they was coming in, and they was dropping these huge bags of money into the temple. You know what I'm saying? And of course, people was praising them for it or whatever. So Jesus, he was just sitting in the corner watching, and all of a sudden, this little lady, an old lady, it said it was an older lady, she came up, and when she went to the little thing to drop her money in, all she dropped in was 2 mites. And if you want to know what a mite is, that's about the equivalent of 2 pennies. That's all she dropped in, 2 cents. You had this other guy that was dropping in thousands and pay maybe hundreds of thousands and bags full of gold and bags full of silver and because they so rich and they just throwing their little money in, throwing all their money in. And this little lady come in behind all these big cats and all these rich guys and all she got is 2 pennies, just rubbing the little 2 pennies together, and she throw them 2 pennies in there. And you know what Jesus said about that? He said she gave more than anybody else had gave. That's what he said. He said she gave more than anybody else can get. And the disciples can understand. He's like, what do you mean? Like, she just put in 2 pennies. They just put in a whole bag of gold. How did she get more? He said, because they gave, what they gave was a little bit off the top. They gave of their abundance. He said, but she gave of her poverty. They gave a little bit of what they had. She gave all that she had. And that's what happens in the hood. We don't have much. We don't have much. Nobody in the hood has a lot, because if they did, they wouldn't be in the hood if they were smart. You see what I'm saying? So they don't have much, and yet they still willing to give. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what Jesus said when that lady came up and she gave the 2 pennies. He said that she gave more. And disciples couldn't understand. How is it that she gave more? How can you say that she gave more when all she gave was 2 pennies? And it's because, and the reason why he said that is because he can see that she gave from her heart. Because she gave of her poverty. And that's what you understand when you're in the hood and you got these people to help you out, because you know how broke they are as well. Both of y'all are broke. Both of y'all on food stamp. Both of y'all on welfare. You know what I'm saying? And mine ran out and she still got a couple of dollars left. And if she give me her couple of dollars, she got to wait till the 1st or the 15th to get read back up. And it's the 17th. You know what I'm saying? So she got to wait a whole other month. But yes, she give me anyway. See, and if they give me anyway, then that means they gave from their heart. And that's what Jesus saw when the lady came and gave her 2 pennies, because she was poor. All she could afford was the 2 pennies, but he knew that she gave those 2 pennies from her heart because she had a heart that was willing to give. You know what I'm saying? So the title of tonight's lesson, I told you it was a good, a long introduction, but here you go. The title of tonight's lesson and the first message from chapter 8 is, if you want to be a proper Christian, you got to have a giving heart. You have to have a giving heart. Now, this one right here can be a hard one. It can be a hard, like I said, this is my favorite one, but it can be a hard, because sometimes you might not have much to give yourself. What do you say to them? He said, though they have been going through much trouble and hard times, their wonderful joy and deep poverty. He didn't just say that like they was kind of messed up right now, but they're going to bounce back. He said they came out of that deep poverty, and that their deep poverty have overflowed into rich generosity. And that's what you get in the hood all the time. You got people that's in deep poverty, and yet they still giving to others. So if the overflows is a rich generosity come from there, and there's so much love, and that's not the stuff they talk about in the hood. Most people don't understand that. If you never lived in the hood, you don't understand that. So you don't understand the obsession with it, because the only time you really feel genuine love is in the hood. When you in professional, like where I'm at, when you're in like professional circles like I am, and you're around professional people, yes, people will help you out, but they ain't giving you that they all. They ain't giving you everything. They ain't poor. They just giving you a little bit at the top. That ain't even out of their savings account. That's the account. That's my, I was going to mess off this weekend account. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing major to them. But when you in the hood, they giving up their poverty, which means they giving up their heart. You see what I'm saying? Because you got to have a giving heart if you want to be a proper Christian. You know what I'm saying? So that's the hard one right there, because sometimes you don't have yourself. Just like they didn't have themselves, but they still gave. And sometimes you don't have yourself. But the thing is, it don't take a lot to encourage somebody. And that's the thing about the hood. It didn't take a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just sharing a little bit will help somebody. Even if it's just a small amount, the fact that you have the heart, that you had the heart to give it, sometimes they can possibly pull somebody about. Somebody could be right there on the edge. And the fact that you had the heart to give, they know you only had $5 and they gave you 2 of that $5. The fact that you was willing to give them that $2, sometimes it'll pull them back from their edge. You never know what somebody's going through, and just a little bit, it don't have to be a lot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say you got to have a heart to give everything. I said you just have to have the heart to give. And that's what you need to have if you're going to be a proper Christian. Because, again, it don't have to be a lot. It can be a small amount, and you never know what to do for somebody. I remember I had this situation one time back and I want to preface this by saying this is back in my old days, old 20-some years ago. So don't try to judge me. But back in the day when I used to smoke marijuana, sometimes what I would do, like if I didn't get to roll it before I left the house, and I had to roll it when I got out of work, what I would do, I would go and park in like a big parking lot, like a major grocery store or something like that, or in the area that I was working in, and I would just park there, and I would park my car to the back where I can look in the rearview mirror, and I would sit there and I would roll my weed. You know, I park far away from the doors, of course, but I'd be looking just to make sure no security ain't running out the doors, run up on me or whatever. So I did my usual routine. I'll never forget this day. It was years ago, like I said, and I was sitting there doing my normal routine, and I had the car parked, and I was kind of just peeping out the rearview mirror or whatever as I was rolling. And I remember looking up, and I see this guy, and he was an old black gentleman. He was tall. He was real skinny. I could tell he was real skinny, and he was just walking slow. And I don't know why. I just, you know what I'm saying, I kind of fixated on him for a minute. I'm like, what does it do? It just seemed out of place with the store that he was in and everything. He seemed out of place. So he's walking out the door, and the little doors open up. And I'm talking about, y'all, he didn't even have a foot out the door before, like soon as those doors opened up, he wasn't even completely out the door before his foot even hit outside. I saw him reach into his pants and pull out a bag of chips, and he just started munching on me. He was like, you know what I'm saying? And it looked like this dude, I'm like, man, that dude, you know, he must really love chips. But then, you know, the spirit told him, like, man, nah, I think he's starving. You know what I'm saying? So I just watched him, and he walked across the parking lot, and it was like a highway. So he walked across the parking lot, walked over to the highway. He went over to the highway, and he started heading. There was a gas station across the street, because we was over there on Harding Place down in Nashville, and he started heading toward that, you know, that gas station. So when I saw that, the Lord just touched my heart. And I was like, man, I think that guy wasn't sticking. Most people are like, oh, I can't believe he stole that. But the Lord sure gave me wisdom, said like, man, that guy's starving. You know what I'm saying? So I reached in my pocket. I had $20 on me. I said, I ain't got a lot. It ain't gonna help him a lot, but I'll give him that. So I got in my car, and I waited till he got clear, because I didn't want to get him in trouble at the store, get arrested or nothing like that. So I waited till he got all the way across the street, and then I rolled over there to the gas station, and I pulled up on him. I'm like, hey, sir, can I talk to you for a second? And he was like, and first he was defensive, like, what do you want? I said, man, you know, I saw them chips that you stole or whatever. So initially he thought I was from the store. He's like, man, I ain't steal no chips. You know, he started getting defensive, getting loud. I said, hey, calm down. I said, I don't work at the store. I said, I just noticed when you pulled them out, man, the way you was eating them, it seemed like you haven't eaten in a while. Like, when was the last time you ate? And when I said that, man, his face, the Bible talks about your countenance change. And that's what happened. His whole countenance changed, and his face just dropped. He's like, man, he said, I ain't ate all week. He said, it's been days. He said, I'm not one to steal. He said, but I'm on the streets. I'm homeless. I ain't got nobody to take care of me, help me out. And I just had to get something to eat. He said, you know, this ain't something I like to do. I hate I had to do it, but I just had to do it. He said, I ain't ate in days. And I said, well, you know what, sir? I said, man, look, I don't have a lot on me right now. I got like $20 on me. I said, here you go, man. Get you something to eat. And I gave it to him, and he just dropped his hand. He just started crying, like grown man, and just started crying. And he looked at me, he said, man, are you Jesus? I said, no, man. I said, I'm not Jesus, man. I said, but I do believe in Jesus. And this was a little bit after I gave my life to the Lord, but I wasn't always straightened out just yet. I said, but it was a little bit after I gave my life to the Lord. I said, no, man, I'm not Jesus, but I do believe in Jesus, and I believe the Lord, you know, put me in this position to help you out. I said, it's not a lot, but you can have it. And he just, tears coming out. He's like, thank you, man. You don't know. You just fed me for the next few days. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, thank you. He's like, I'm going to give me some bread and make some bologna. And I'm going to have sandwich for the next few days. Thank you. Thank you. And that day, like, I don't know what that guy was going through. I don't know, but I know just $20. You know what I'm saying? That $20 was going to hurt me. I didn't really have it like that at that time, because the job I worked was a mid-level job, but still, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a lot for me, but man, it was everything to that dude in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So just giving this, having that heart to give, you don't know. I don't know that, but dude could have been to that point where he was about to rob somebody to eat the way he was eating those chips. I don't know. I could have saved somebody's life because I gave him the $20, and instead of him robbing somebody, he had the money to go get him the food. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to have that heart to be willing to give, because even if it's a little bit, it can help somebody, it can encourage somebody. You see, because the thing is, you got to understand about a little bit. If you somebody with nothing, a little bit, something little, it ain't going to hurt somebody that got a lot. But when you ain't got nothing, even a little would go a long way. You know what I'm saying? A little would go a long way for somebody that has nothing, absolutely. If they ain't got absolutely nothing, a little, that's a lot to them. You know what I'm saying? So a little can go a long way. And it might be little to you, but it's more than enough for them, especially if God is in it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if God is in it. Little as much. There's one of my favorite songs from the church. It's called A Little As Much If God Is In It. If God is in it, and you give that little, if God's behind it, if you give that little bit can turn into a lot. Think about it. Think about all the people that Jesus fed with just a couple of loaves of bread and a few little fish. You remember all the peoples out there, they had came to hear him preach and they were starving. You're like, man, I really don't want to send them away in the way. And, it's too late for them to really go buy food. And I really don't want to send them away. Send them out in the way and they faint in the way or something bad happened to them because they ate all day. And you're like, well, what do we got? What can we feed them? And disciples, of course, they don't understand yet. They ain't proper Christian yet. They're like, man, all we got is a little bit. Man, we just got a couple of loaves of bread and these little tiny fish. And Jesus like, give them to him. And what happened? He said he blessed them. He blessed them and started breaking down and said, give it to the people. And it said he fed 5,000 men. Now you got to understand something. That's men. They don't include the women and children. And most of the people in that time was married and most of them had a lot of kids. So even though he said 5,000 men, in reality, Jesus probably fed 10 to 15,000 people that day with a couple of loaves of bread and a few small fishes. Why? Because little is much when God is in it. You know what I'm saying? There was another situation where somebody's life was saved, because somebody was willing to give to what little they have. If y'all know the Bible, there was a story where Elijah, he had, he was on the run. There was a drought. He had told the king, because the king was wicked, and he told him like, man, it's gonna be a drought, and it ain't gonna rain until I tell it to rain again. It ain't gonna rain. So of course, it was like 2-3 years, and it hadn't rained, so all the crops was dead. Animals was dying. They didn't have food nowhere. People were starving in the land. It was a famine in the land because there wasn't no rain. So the Lord told him to go and find this lady. Says to go to this town. It's called Zarephath. I think I pronounced that right. And you're going to find this lady and you go and you join yourself to her house. You know what I'm saying? So he goes and finds this lady. So this lady, she's out in the woods. She was a widow, which means her husband had died and women couldn't work. So women couldn't work unless somebody took care of them, somebody provided for them. They were just stuck because they couldn't work. You know what I'm saying? So, and then not only could she not work, her husband was dying, it was a famine. So all she had left in her house to eat was a little small cup full of flour and a little thing of oil. So when Elijah came across her, she was out in the woods gathering sticks so she can make her last little, cook a little, make a little cake or biscuit or whatever you want to call it for her and her son, because she had a son, and she gonna make that last little biscuit, make that last little meal, and they was just gonna die. She was preparing to die. She was right, like I said, right on the edge. You know what I'm saying? So then Elijah come up and he like, hey, if you don't mind, give me a little cup of water. And he said, while you at it, go and bake me a little cake and bring that to me too. And she's like, my Lord. He's like, he said, I barely have anything myself. Like, matter of fact, I'm out here gathering sticks. All I got is a little cup of flour, and I got a little bit of bottle of oil, and I'm out here gathering sticks right now so I can make my last meal for me and my son so we can die. And what he said, I tell you what, go ahead and make me a little cake like I said, and I guarantee you're going to have enough. So she did what she said. She was she had a heart that was willing to give. She had a heart of willing to give, so she went in and she made that little cake. And you know what it said? It said for the next 3 months, her son, and Elijah ate off that same cup of flour and that same bottle of oil for 3 months. 3 months. All they had was a cup of flour and a bottle of oil, and they ate, and that's at least 3 months. They could have kept going because he stayed with her. I think he said he stayed with her about 3 months, and the whole time they was there, the flour never ran out and the oil never ran out. Why? Because she was willing to give. Even though she was in her poverty, she was really willing to give because she knew he was a man of God. You see what I'm saying? So because what it say right here? He said, I am not saying that you must do it, even though the other churches are eager to do it, but this is one way to prove your love is real. And that's why I say people have such an infatuation in the hood. They prove that love is real because you was willing to give me out of a little bit that you had. This lady, she showed the Lord that her love for the Lord was real, and her love for the Lord's people was real, because even though she had this one cup of flour and this one little bottle of oil, she was willing to give it so the man of God could survive. You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand, because she had that giving heart, she was blessed with plenty. And she had, and her son's life was spared. Not only was her son's life was spared, the man of God life was spared. And he got to go on and continue to do that great work that he was doing, Elijah did. You know what I'm saying? This was before he had that contest on Mount Carmel. And then eventually he passed his powers on to Elisha, his spirit on to Elisha. But this was before all that. He wouldn't have been able to do none of that if this lady right here didn't have the heart that was willing to give. You see how important that is? And that's why I say it touches my heart, because this is something that has happened to me and it's helped me get to the point where I am today. You know what I'm saying? And it talks about that, even though she only had that little, she gave what it said at the end of our verses. It said, those who gathered a lot had nothing left over, and those who gathered only a little bit had enough. Even though it was a little bit, God was in it. So it was enough. So you don't have to give a lot to be able to give. You don't have to have a lot to be able to give, and you don't have to give. You don't have to have a lot to be able to give, and you can give out of your poverty. You know what I'm saying? Because if you give with a cheerful heart, the Lord will bless it, and He will bless you because the Lord loves a cheerful giver. He hated a little stingy son of a gun. You know what I'm saying? He loved a cheerful giver. And I'm pretty sure that lady, she was willing. And even though it was her last, she literally thought that was her last meal for her and her son. You know what I'm saying? Now I can see her not caring about herself, but you know how women with their children, they're gonna protect their children. So for her to give, literally take food out of her son's mouth, she had to love God to be able to do that. She had to have respect for the man of God to do that, and she did, and she was blessed because of it. So again, you don't have to have a lot to be able to give. You can give out of your poverty. And if you give with a cheerful heart, the Lord will bless it, and He will bless you because of it. Because the Lord loves a cheerful giver, and that's why I'm always giving. That's why I'm always doing what I can to help people out. Sometimes I wish I couldn't. I couldn't give. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I don't want to give, but I can't help it. I can't help it. I just have to give. That's why I'm always giving what I can to help people out. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to be, you know what I'm saying? You might be like, well, Bro John, you give because you got a really good job. And that's why you give. You got a good job. Yeah, I got a good job, but I also got a lot of kids that I support. I support all their dreams. I got my daughter right now going to nail school. I'm supporting her dream. It's expensive. It ain't no scholarship for that stuff. I'm having to pay for that out of my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Just moved to a house, a bigger house that I didn't want to move to, had to move to because of the situation a couple of months ago, lost the house that we was in because you know, so it got sold or whatever, and I'm having to pay more rent. So I got a lot of stuff, and I'm supporting everybody in my house, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, I've been taking in strays over the last few years since we've been up here in Waverly, Tennessee. So yes, I got a good job, but I also got a lot of responsibilities. I got a lot of people that's depending on me. So I really don't have a lot of money. People think I do because of my job. I don't. I got a lot of people I'm taking care of. If I get rid of some of these jokers, I would have a lot of money. If I was on my own, I'd be balling, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you on that, but I'm not. I got like 10, 12 people at any given time that depend on me. But yet, even though I have all these responsibilities, even though I have all the people depend on me, I still give. You know what I'm saying? I still give. I think that, and it's honestly, you know, the Christian thing, my kids, they can deal with me with my being long-winded. They can deal with me with all my rules and regulations and stuff. But I think the one part of my character that my kids don't like about me is this giving heart that I have. Because like I said earlier, when I give, the fact that since I don't have a lot, when I give, every time I give, I'm taking something away from them. That's something they could be having. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm giving away their stuff. Like, I mean, it's mine, but it's theirs. Because if I didn't give it away to these certain people or whatever, then they can have it. So when I'm giving away from their stuff. You know what I'm saying? They used to joke with me all the time. They like, man, and they say they're joking. My kids love, and they love everybody we've taken in. But they used to joke all the time. Like, man, if you just stop taking in strays and we just only had our family in the house, we'd probably be rich right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always taking in other people's kids. You know what I'm saying? And I can't help it. Because like I mentioned earlier, I can't tell you how many times I was down and out. And I was at the end, man. I didn't know where I was going to get my next meal from. I can't tell you how many times I ain't know where I was going to get my next bath from, my next shower from, where I was going to get these clothes from so I can go to school. It was so many times I was down and out. And I didn't know where the resources were going to come from so I can make it through the next day. And somebody stepped up and they gave, even though they had nothing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have anything. They didn't have a lot, and they still gave to me anyway. Somebody always gave through, and they always gave, and they encouraged me to go further. They encouraged me to make it through another day. Man, they gave me just enough to make it through Tuesday. Man, I'm going to make it through Tuesday, and I'm going to see what Wednesday going to bring. Somebody always showed up and gave, even though I was surrounded by people that didn't have much. I had nothing, and they still gave out of the little bit they had because it was a genuine love there. And again, that's why people are so infatuated with the hood, because that's the only place you get into this world, and you get into this upper middle class and middle class people and rich people, and you don't see genuine love. Most people deal with you because they have to deal with you, or they deal with it's more of a transactional relationship or a business relationship. They don't deal with you because they truly love you. They deal with you because they have to. In the hood, they deal with you because they love you. You know they love you because you ain't got nothing and they ain't got nothing, and they still let you hang around. It's a genuine love there. So that's why I give. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been given too, so that's why I give. You know what I'm saying? I give. That's why I give my kids. I've had a situation. We moved up here with my son one time. His friend came over, spent the night, just wanted to spend the night. I'm like, it's cool. And that spending one night turned into like 2. This kid lived up for like 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And his mom knew where he was at, and the family knew, but they wasn't taking care of the kid. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up living with me for like 2 years. No son. So I give. I gave. I didn't have the money for that. And this is when I first moved up here, so I wasn't making as much as I'm making now because I was just starting out. Now, I've been here 11 years, so my money's increased over the years from raising all that stuff. I make a decent amount now, but I didn't have it then. And plus, I was coming out of debt because when we first moved up here, I was out of work for like a year. So I had all kind of loans and debt and bankruptcy and stuff I was trying to pay off, all that kind of stuff. So I didn't have it. But yet this little kid came, and even though we didn't have much, he didn't have nothing. So I gave him a place to stay. So yes, I give my kids random friends a place to stay because they don't have a good home life. You know, I give random strangers rides down. It ain't always, it ain't always got to be money. It ain't always got to be food. It can just be time and effort. You know what I'm saying? I give random strangers rides over 80 miles away because they got left by a bus. And you're like, what are you talking about? I had a situation one day, my mama was coming up to visit. So my mom's coming up to visit. It was her first time coming up to visit me. So we don't have a bus station that's close to us. The closest one to where we stay is Jackson, Tennessee, was still like an hour and a half away. So she basically get on the bus and drive an hour and a half to Jackson. It brings about halfway to Memphis. So it brings her to Jackson, and then I have to drive an hour and a half to go get her in Jackson. Well, it was our first time doing it, and they didn't know the bus went to a gas station. When a bus station is a gas station, and just so happened the gas station was closed. So my mama got to the place. I was like 3 minutes behind top, and no, I was heading there because I knew the bus was about to pull up, and I was right down the road. But when she got there, the gas station was closed, and she was like, "I'm not getting." And it was at night, so she just stayed on the bus. So I'm like, Mama, what are you doing? So the bus next stop was Nashville. You know what I'm saying? So it's a long, crazy story. So I'm chasing the bus down. I'm blowing a horn. And of course, the bus ain't going to pull over. So I'm calling my mom like, hey, talk to the bus driver. See if you can get him to pull over and let you off. And he was like, sit down. You know, I can hear him yelling at her, sit down or whatever. And I'm like, man, what am I going to do? Because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I had to be at work at 8 o'clock the next day, so I was already going to get a little bit of sleep. And if I had to drive all the way down to Nashville and then drive home, I wasn't going to get no sleep. So I was doing everything I can to avoid to go to Nashville. So I'm chasing this bus down. I'm talking about I'm going like 80 to 100 miles per hour to catch up with it and blowing a horn and trying to get attention. So finally, there's a place, exit a few miles down called Camden, Tennessee, which is close to where I stay at. And the driver moved over. He said, I guess I'll take a stop. He went to a gas station there. You know what I'm saying? And he was pissed. But he, you know what I'm saying, he let her off or whatever. So he's like, all right, y'all, we'll take a stop. Y'all go in and get snacks or whatever. So they, you know, people got off the bus and he's like, all right, be back in like 10, 15 minutes. So me and my mom, we going to give me some gas. We go in the gas station. And as I'm walking into the gas station, there was actually a lady sitting on the ground. And she was like, you know, can I get a ride? And I'm like, well, where you going? She's like, Nashville. Nah, I ain't going to that. I already said I ain't going to Nashville. I ain't doing that. That's why I chased this bus down. So I had to go to Nashville. So I'm like, sorry, ma'am, I'm not going that way. And I went in and got some snacks or whatever. So there was a guy that was right in front of us, and I know he was rushing. And you know what I'm saying? I didn't think nothing of it. He was rushing, and he, you know, ran in front. We were getting ready to go check out. He ran in front of us and kind of skipped. And I was a little pissed at first. I'm like, whatever, he must got to get somewhere. So he buys his stuff, and he walks outside. So I go and I check out, and I walk outside. So when I walk outside, I get out the door. The guy standing at the door, and he just got the look of on his face like unbelief. He was just like, so I look, I'm like, what's going on? The bus was pulling out, and this guy was on the bus. So the bus that left him, he's in Camden, Tennessee, one of the most countries, a black dude too, the one countries, places that you ever want to be, in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, and he's stuck in Camden, Tennessee, and all his stuff is on the bus. All he was able to bring with him was his phone, whatnot. So he just got to look like, what am I going to do? All his luggage, everything was on the bus, and the bus was pulling off. So I'm like, man, you all right? He's like, no, bro, the bus just left me. I said, where are you heading? He said, man, I'm supposed to be going out to Nashville. I came up, it was a graduation season. I came up to go see my niece graduate, and I don't know what am I going to do. I said, I ain't got no money on. I just had a couple of dollars in my pocket, my cards, everything is on that bus. And I was just like, man. And I wanted to just be like, oh, well, you know, tough titty, says the kitty, but my spirit wouldn't let me do it. I said, tell you what, bro, I've been doing everything I can to avoid going to Nashville. Obviously, the Lord want me in Nashville tonight. I said, man, I'll take you on down there. So the lady was saying, I said, hey, ma'am, you said you need to go to Nashville. Come on, you join the party. So it's 2:30 in the morning, and I get in my car, and I take this dude down to Nashville. And we happened to get there. We got to Nashville, because the bus had already left, of course, and I had to get some gas and stuff. And we got to Nashville like 5. We pulled up, you know what I'm saying, because of course my truck go faster. And we pulled up 5 minutes before the bus got there. And we talked, man, the guy talked the whole way down, and you know what I'm saying, he believed in the Lord. He said he was saved, but he had turned his back on the Lord, so to speak. He was more into the world, and he had been thinking about God. But he's like, man, thank you so much, man. Like, and we just had a good conversation all the way down. And I got his number. He's like, man, thank you. Like, man, you saved me. I don't know what I would have did, because he would been just stuck at this gas station. No money, no tram, no nothing. It ain't no Uber coming out to no Camden, Tennessee to pick you up. He was just stuck. You know what I'm saying? And I did that, and I saw what the effect it had on the guy, and I ended up going to work. I only slept like an hour and went to work, and I just took a half day and I left. But I did that because I understood our point. I knew if I didn't do it, most likely nobody else was going to do it, and I don't know what kind of situation it was in. So I gave. It wasn't money, but I gave that time. Well, I guess it was money because I had to spend all that gas because I had to drive all the way down to Nashville and then drive an hour and a half back home. So I spent a lot of gas, but it wasn't about the money. It was the fact that I gave that man a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because he was where he was at, he was going to be in a desperate situation, and I gave him a way out of that situation. So I gave because somebody has given to me. And I hope if I'm ever in the same situation, somebody show up for me. So I do that. I gave that random stranger a ride down to Nashville. I give mentally unstable people ride because I wanted to possibly save their life. I got a guy that's in my ministry, and two guys in my ministry. One of them is mentally handicapped, and one of them, he's just a little off. And, you know, the one that was mentally handicapped, he had got hit by a truck, and he was in a hospital down in Nashville. Now, again, we stay in Waverly, which is about 80 miles away from Nashville. So he wanted to go see, you know, him and the other guy was really good friends, so he wanted to go see him. So his sister told him, like, hey, I'll take you tomorrow, but he wanted to go see him tonight, and he's a little off, so once he gets something in his head, he's going to do it. So I was heading down to Dixon, Tennessee. I had something to do, which is only like 30 minutes down the road, and I was heading to Dixon anyway, and I'm heading to Dixon, and I see this guy walking down the road. So I'm like, why is he walking? So I pulled up. I know he ain't, you know, trying to walk to Nashville. So I said, hey, Chris, what are you doing, man? He's like, oh, man, I got to go see my buddy Tony. He's in the hospital. And I said, Chris, man, what are you? I said, you can't walk down the Nashville. It's about to get dark. He's like, well, and Tony got hit, you know, walking down the highway. I'm like, well, what you think going to happen to you? I said, you're going to kill yourself. I said, no, man, you can't go there. He said, oh, I got to go. But I know, because I know him, because he's been on ministry, I know him. I know that once he gets something in his head, he's going to do it. So I was going to like, man, just get in the truck. I'm going to take it back home. But I know even if I did that, he was still going to find his way down. And now he's going to just walk back down to Nashville. So I didn't want to do it. Didn't have the time to do it. And plus, I wasn't even in my good truck. I got one truck I use for work. And then I got another truck that I use for, you know, long distances. I was in my work truck. So I didn't really want to go to Nashville because I don't like taking that work truck on long journeys because I already got like 400,000 miles on it. But I knew that if I didn't help him out, that he was going to go walk down to Nashville, he could possibly get killed. And I told him, and then the thing is, because he's mentally off, if he got down there and they would let him see him, he might go off and he end up getting shot or something like that. So all this stuff is going through my head. So that's going through my head. Now my flesh is like, man, forget that. That's on him. But my spirit like, man, you can't let him go down there. This could happen. He can get arrested. He can get shot. He can get hit by a car. He can die. You know what I'm saying? So I said, man, get in. And I was actually begrudging. I was so mad because I knew he wasn't going to listen. I said, man, get in. And I drove him all the way down to Nashville to see his buddy. You know what I'm saying? And his sister was so thankful. She said, John, I told him that I'd take him tomorrow. I said, I know, but I know how Chris is. And once he gets something in his head, he going to do it. And I just couldn't, I would never forgave myself if I just let him walk down that road and he end up dead or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I gave him that time. I gave him that opportunity. I possibly saved his life. Because it was getting dark and he was trying to walk to Nashville. And I said, bro, you ain't, he said, man, I used to do this all the time. I said, boy, there ain't no way you walked to Nashville before, 80 miles. And I said, if you did walk, it'll be 2-3 days before you get there. I said, just go home. He wouldn't, so I took him down there. So I did that. I gave him that. I gave him the opportunity to probably save his life, to go down there and see his friend. You know what I'm saying? When I'm down in Nashville or I'm in these big cities, I give $5 or $10 to the people that's on the side of the road holding the sign. You know what I'm saying? I do it every single time. You know what I'm saying? And I know people be like, man, I don't like to get them people. I hear it all the time. Man, I don't like to get them people because all they're going to do is use it for alcohol and drugs. You don't know that. You don't know that. You're judging that person. You don't know that. That couple of dollars could possibly be the difference from them being able to survive through the night. That couple of dollars could be the difference. That could be possibly the difference from them not starving to death that night. You don't know that $2 or $3 is going to be used for alcohol or drugs. You don't know that. You only know what they told you. And the sign say, I need this because I need some shelter, or the sign say, I need this because I need some food. You should have a heart to be able to give it to them. I'm not telling you give them their whole wallet. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people, they're like, well, I just take them and get the food. I don't have time for that. If I'm going out to Nashville, I'm on a mission, I got some stuff to do, and 9 times out of 10, I'm late because I'm always late for stuff. So I just give them the money. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? If the sign say for food or shelter, I give it to them for food or shelter. You know what I'm saying? If I give them the money, it could be for food or shelter, or it could be for a beer or a hit of drugs for that night. I don't know. But here's the thing. That shouldn't be your concern. There shouldn't be your concern what they're using it for if you're giving from a giving heart. If you're giving for the sake of giving. You see what I'm saying? If you're giving from a giving heart, it should be your concern what you're giving for. You know what I'm saying? If you truly have what you're giving it, what they're going to use it for. If you truly have a giving heart, you should only be concerned with giving for the need that they told you they have. If they have a need, if they say it's for food and shelter, then they go use it on drugs and alcohol, that's on them. Your concern should be, why do they need this? Well, he told me he's a homeless vet and he ain't got no food to eat. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. That should be your concern. If you coming from a giving heart, you're not gonna be trying to judge that person. If you have truly have a giving heart, you're not gonna try to manipulate that person, make sure. And some people do it to be the a-holes. I just take and get the food. Man, this is what they said they need. Give it to them. If you got a giving heart, just give it to them. You know what I'm saying? And if they do use it for drugs and alcohol instead of food and shelter, that's on them. You know why it's on them? Because there's going to come a day when they're going to have to stand before God and explain why they lied to one of his saints. You know what I'm saying? One of my saints was down there trying to help you out, and you lied to him and told you needed food and shelter, and you went and used that for drugs and alcohol. They're going to have to answer to God before that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to answer God before that. And if you don't do your part, then you're going to have to answer God as well. Because it says all the time, we've entertained angels unaware. You don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what they need. And even if they need alcohol and drugs, maybe you give them that $5 going to keep them from robbing somebody and killing somebody to get it. You see what I'm saying? You don't know. Just do your part. If God put them in your path and you're going down that path, they're in your path, do your part. You know what I'm saying? Do your part and give from a cheerful heart. Because that's what you're supposed to do if you're truly a proper Christian. Because if you give to them and you try to regulate how they're going to spend what you're giving, then you're not being a proper Christian. You don't have a giving heart. You're just a stingy Christian and therefore not a proper Christian. You know what I'm saying? I know people that don't give tithes to the church because they think, well, they going to use it for this and they going to use it for that. And I don't want my money used for this. It shouldn't matter to you. If you're giving out of a giving heart, it shouldn't matter to you what the church is going to use it for. The church has bills to pay. That electricity ain't running on the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? That electricity, if they have a food pantry, that food ain't running. The Holy Spirit didn't buy that. It's people donation that get it. I'm running a little church now, and I understand how important it is. I got a little church, and we got a small group, and people don't tithe like they should, so we don't have there's a lot of stuff that I want to do. There's a lot of stuff I know I can do to grow the church, but people won't give. They won't give like they're supposed to. And I'm not one to beat them over the head with this. Matter of fact, this is the first time I've ever done on giving. And it's only because it came up and you know what I'm saying, here. But if nobody gives, then we can't do the work. You know what I'm saying? So go to your local church. You go to your local churches, give. I've heard so many people say, I ain't get my tithe because I don't want to use it for this. That's not your concern. If you got to give in heart, you give for the work. Now, if the pastor is doing something wrong with the money, if the pastor is stealing the money or whatever, they're going to have to answer to God. Stop trying to be God. Just give from their giving heart. You know what I'm saying? And people will kill me that claim to be these big Christians and you know what I'm saying? And they'll walk right past a brother or sister in need and won't even look at them. Won't even give them some off their, you know what I'm saying? They won't even give them a little bit off the top. Just throw them a little change you got in your pocket. They won't even do that. I don't want to use it for drugs and alcohol. That's their excuse. They're going to use it for drugs and alcohol. That's their excuse. You know what I'm saying? They won't even tithe. Oh, well, the preacher going to use it for this. That's the excuse. You're just stingy. You're not giving from a giving heart. Because if you give from a giving heart, it's not going to be your concern with what it's used for. Your concern is your only concern should be that I gave. That should be your only concern. I gave, Lord, I did my part. I gave. I hope they use it for food and shelter, like they said, and not drugs and alcohol. I hope they use it, the church to pay the bills and take care of the flock. I hope they use it for those things. But if they don't, Lord, you see them. Let God deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Your job is to give. If you call yourself a proper Christian, then you should have that willingness to give. You should have that giving heart and have that willingness to give. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to have some discretion. Of course, people will take advantage of you. Yes, people will use you. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell how many times people call me and you know what I'm saying, oh, I want you to do that. And I know they just lying. They just want to get their fix. That does happen. Have some discretion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to give to a point where it's going to hurt you. But I'm saying if you got something and you know it's not going to hurt you to throw, like when I gave that guy with the chips $20, they weren't going to hurt me. I didn't have it, but they weren't going to hurt me. I can make up that $20. That wasn't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying if you got something that ain't gonna hurt you, have some discretion. Like I said, he said, I'm not telling you. He said, now you should curve this project through with completion as enthusiastic as it began. Give whatever you can according to what you have. If you are really eager to give, it isn't important how much you are able to give. God wants you to give what you have, not what you don't have. Of course, I don't mean you should give so much that you suffer from having. So again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about you people that can give. It ain't gonna hurt you, and you can give, but you don't do it. Oh, he gonna use it for drugs and alcohol. Oh, I'm not gonna pay my tithe because I don't like what the preacher gonna do. It. I don't like. He talk about putting new carpet in the church, or he talk about doing it, and I don't want him using my tithe to do it. So I'm not gonna get. Those are excuses. You're being stingy, and you're not being a proper Christian because you don't have a heart to give. You should give. Have discretion. Like I said, give what you can do without. Don't give your bill money. That's what I do. When I give money, I give the amount that I know I don't have to have it back. And I'm not gonna give you something I have to have back. If I know all I got is $50, I gotta have this $50. I got a bill to pay. I'm not gonna give you out of the $50. But if I got $70 and I know all I need is $50 to pay that bill, I give you that other $20. You see what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, I had to learn that the hard way because I got a brother that was always borrowing money from me. And one day he called, he was in the bay, like, man, I just need this to Friday. You know what I'm saying? And I had my bill coming up. My bill was due like that Friday, whatever. He said, man, I just need this couple of dollars Friday. I said, bro, I ain't really got it. I said, all I got is my bill money. Bro, I promise you give it to me. When I get paid Friday, I'm going to give it back. I'm like, but bro, if you don't give me this, I can't pay whatever bill. It was water bill, light bill, whatever. Like, I ain't going to be able to pay that. So I got to have it back. All right, man, I got you. So I give it to him, and I didn't hear from him for another month. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go and borrow money to pay the bill that I already had money to pay. So I'm not saying do something like that. I learned my lesson. I'm going to use some discretion. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? If you had the money, you had that little extra, you had that couple of dollars, and you know that couple of dollars ain't going to hurt you, and you pass by that person, and he got that sign, throw that man that couple of dollars. And what I do, I give him $3. Now, I don't never give him like $20, $100, nothing like that. I give him $5, and it's crazy. I have such a giving heart, and this ain't a brag or a flex, nothing like that. That's the only reason why I keep cash in my pocket. Because I use cards. I got cards. I put my money on cards. I got a bank account, you know what I'm saying? And my wife used cards. I actually make sure I keep at least $20 in fives in my pocket just to give to somebody if they need it when I come by. And that's what I try to do. I try to give them $5, and I give them a gospel tract every single time. You know what I'm saying? And if they look like they're really desperate, I might give them 10. So I don't give them all my money in my pocket, but I give. You know what I'm saying? I give. And I don't do that no more with giving my bill money. I learned that from my brother, but I still always give what I can. You know what I'm saying? Because me being a proper Christian, I have that giving heart. And I pray that you will too, because you don't know how much that helps somebody. You don't know how much that encourages somebody. You don't know how much it's going to keep the people off the edge. But more importantly, you don't know how much God will bless you when you give from that giving heart, because you're a true forgiver, because you are a proper Christian. So if you want to be a proper Christian, then you have to have that giving heart, and you give. Again, not give everything. Not give and put yourself in a hole. Not give your bill money, but you give what you can so you can do what you can to build the kingdom of God, because you never know how much that little bit you give, it can go a long way when somebody has nothing. Let's pray. Dear Lord Heavenly Father, thank you so much for watching over us. Thank you so much, honestly, man, for all the people in my life that's given over the years. Like I said, when I was younger, my mom was on crack, dad was on crack, my grandma had just me and 7 of my cousins. She was supporting us all with her little disability and Social Security and all that stuff, and it was never enough, Lord. And it was so many times where I didn't know how I was going to make it through. And it was so many times I didn't know if I was going to make it through. And somebody always, even though they was in poverty, just like I was in poverty, somebody always came through and they gave and encouraged me and helped me make it it through. And I pray you help the people see this. Like I told them, this ain't the best lesson ever. This ain't the greatest lesson ever. It ain't the most important lesson ever. But it's one that touched me near and dear to my heart because it truly has built me into the person I am. And it's why I give so much. It's why I'm always doing what I can to help others out, because I know what they help. When their help came from me, I know what it did for me, and I know what it can possibly do for others as well, Lord. And I pray you help the people see this. I don't think I did it justice, this lesson. I hope I was able to bring forth a truth and it touched their hearts. I don't really think I did it justice, and I think it's just because I was so close to it. And it just means so much to me for those that has given in my life. But I pray you people see that. I pray they see how important that aspect of having that giving heart is, Lord. And they will go forth and stop being so stingy and stop worrying about where it's going. Because when they give from their heart, when they had a giving heart and they truly give, being a true giver, you're going to bless whatever they give. You're going to bless whatever they give, and whatever they give is going to bless the person they give it to. And it's going to bless their families as well. And it always returns, Lord. Yes, I'm always broke, but I always have what I need. I've never went without food. I've never went, as you can see, I never went without electricity. I've never went without having a place to stay. I've never went without water or anything. I've always had, I might not have some wants, but I've always had everything I need because I've always given, Lord. And I pray you help the people see that. And I pray you just continue to be with them and let these words resonate in their heart. And if they've been holding on, clutching on to their purses and holding on to those little pennies and trying to store up money here, I pray you help them see how important it is to start giving, Lord, and having that giving heart, so those rewards can be turned and they can do their return to them. They can do their part to honor and glorify your name, actually be your kingdom. Thank you for this time here tonight in this lesson, Lord. Thank you for the ones that came in. I know this is not my normal time at all, and I was late, so I didn't get a lot of people in here, but I know a lot of people that usually watch it after I reposted. But I pray that their hearts was touched tonight, and I thank you for this ministry. Thank you for this time, this word. Thank you for this wonderful lesson and giving me the opportunity to just pastor this little flock that you've blessed me with, Lord. And I just pray that this ministry can continue to grow, prosper, reach out in the community, change the lives of others, and capture lost souls of men. I pray for Legion Grove Community Church that it'll continue to grow, prosper, reach out to the lives of others, and capture lost souls of men. And I pray you just touch the hearts of my ministry members, my church members, Lord, and my family. Continue to use us all in a mighty way to do our part to honor and glorify your name and actually be your kingdom and turn the house of this world back to you. I pray you be with all of your faithful servants all over the world, Lord, all those that put in time, energy, and effort to doing the work to actually be your kingdom. I pray you be a wall of protection around us all, keep us safe and protected from the attack of the enemy, whether it's physical or spiritual. And I pray you give us the resources and the protection that we need to continue to go forth doing your work. I pray you be with all my brothers and sisters that's being persecuted all over the world. I know they've been hearing about this situation in Nigeria and the Middle Eastern countries and the things they're going through because of their faith and trust in you. Be with them all, Lord. Be a wall of protection around them and give them the resources they need to continue to go forth and stay faithful and to do this work that you have for them to do, Lord. I pray, Lord, that you continue to be with all those that are lost, Lord. If there's anybody that's in the sound of my voice watching this video and they don't know you as Savior, please see your spirit down upon their heart to bring them under conviction about their salvation and give them the wisdom and the desire to want to hear your word and give them the discretion to listen to your word. Send one of your faithful servants by to share that word with them. Give them discretion to listen to that word and accept that word and come to know you as Savior before it's too late and they go through the door called death. I pray you be with all those that's going through any kind of health problem and sickness right now. Special prayer tonight, be with Miss Alicia. She's a faithful member. I don't know if she was able to make it in tonight, but be with her, Lord, as she goes through this procedure. And please get a doctor's wisdom to make the right diagnosis and prescribe the right treatments. And I pray you be with my brother Jerry as well, Lord. They sent him home on hospice, and it was such a great time getting to talk to him last night. And the good thing is he wasn't upset at all. He was ready to go. He was, remind me of somebody sitting in the airport and waiting for their little layover. They're just ready for the plane to come on in so they can go, Lord. And that was such a blessing. But still, be with him, Lord. Keep your hands upon him. Be with his family as well as he transitions, Lord, and give them the strength and the understanding so they can keep going forward and honor his legacy, because he loved you. And I pray you be with all those others that are sick as well. Just keep your healing hands upon them as Jehovah Rapha, the God that heals. We know you are God that heals, and a touch from your hand just heal all elements, Lord. And I pray that they'll be able to feel your healing power. I pray you be with the doctors as they work with doctors, give the doctors the wisdom to make the right diagnosis and prescribe the right treatments. And I pray those treatments are effective and their body has the strength to be able to withstand those treatments, and they're able to get back to being 100%. And they give you all the honor, glory, and praise because they recognize it's only because of you that they're able to do so, Lord. I pray you be be with all your faithful servants, all the faithful public servants, all those that put their health, life, and safety at risk to protect the health, life, and safety of others. All those public servants, Lord, all those in the military, law enforcement, rescue services, medical services, all those whose job put them on the front line of danger. Please be with them and keep them safe and protected, Lord, throughout as they serve, so they can make it back home safely in the same condition they went off to serve in. Give them the wisdom to make the right decisions, especially when it comes to life and death situations, and give them the wisdom also to not to abuse the authority they've been granted over those they're supposed to be serving and protecting. But keep their family safe and protected while they're away, so they may have a moment or a day where they able to embrace each other once again, and they give y'all the honor, glory, and praise because they recognize it's only because of you they was able to do so. And I pray, Lord, that you continue to watch over this world and this country as a whole. Be with us, Lord, so we can turn our hearts back to you. Help us to see, give us the wisdom to see how far away from you we've turned, and give us the wisdom to turn our hearts back to you. And I pray for that day when the world as a whole will humble ourselves, pray, seek your face, and turn from our wicked ways so you can hear from heaven, forgive our sins, and hit our lands. As we get ready to journey into this new year, Lord, I pray for a safe end of this year and a safe beginning and a wonderful blessing and a wonderful beginning of next year, Lord. And I pray that as people go forth and they make their New Year's resolutions and all those things, and I pray that one of those resolutions be that they get closer to you so we can do the things that you have for us to do. Once again, thank you for this lesson tonight. I pray to touch the hearts of the people, and I pray to bring them closer to you, and I pray you continue to use me and my family in this ministry in a mighty way to honor and glorify your name, actually build your kingdom and turn the hearts of this world back to you. We love you so much for this time spent hearing your word tonight, and we say this prayer in your wonderful son, Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So I apologize, y'all, if I went long tonight. I usually have my clock here so I can time myself, and I didn't. And I hate doing that because I just go because I can do this all night. But I know y'all don't have all night. But I appreciate y'all for being in here with me. Of course, I do the prayer now, so you don't have to stay for the end of the announcements. If you don't want to, you can get on out of here. All the important stuff is done. But if you is here, as always, there's anything in particular you'd like me to cover in the story I haven't covered already, please reach out to me and let me know. And again, if y'all are in the Waverly area tomorrow night, we're going to have, instead of going to New Year's and going out to Nashville and drinking and smoking and all that, we're going to have a service at our church, Elysian Grove Community Church, 5891 Bakerville Road. We're going to meet there at 7 o'clock, and we're going to have a watch night service. So we're going to hang out to 12 o'clock, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to eat, and we're going to have food. We're going to eat, and we're going to have food, and we're going to do games and Bible games and sing songs. I might do a little small sermon, something like that, about the New Year, New You. I'm thinking about it, but we depend on how tomorrow to go. But mostly we're just going to be hanging out. We're going to watch a good Christian movie, and at right at 12 o'clock, we're going to take the Lord's Communion, and that way we end the year thinking about the Lord and start the year out thinking about the Lord. If you're in the area, please come out and visit. That's the best way. I've been doing it for the last 10 years, and it's the best way to start your year, and I'm looking forward to doing it in my own church this year. So please come out and see us for that. Keep sharing these videos, tell others about the videos as well, tagging people so the word can get out there, and if it touched your heart, it'll touch others as well. So continue to do that. And of course, if you're not 100% sure about your salvation, please reach out to me and let me know, because it's the most important decision you ever make in your life. And you want to be sure that you have that day where you accept the Lord as Savior. And of course, if you need any kind of spiritual counseling or anything like that, please reach out to me and let me know that so I can put some time in my schedule to go over there with you. And of course, if you want to find my old sermons, just go to the easiest way is to catch it on YouTube. And the easiest way to find my YouTube is just going to LostSheepMinistries.com. That's one word, LostSheepMinistries.com. Go there, and it'll be my website. Scroll down the bottom, you'll see a link to all my little social media, TikTok and all that stuff, and that way you can catch all my old stuff. So other than that, man, I love y'all. I hope y'all all had a Merry Christmas, and if I don't see you or you don't come by the service or I don't talk to you again until next year, I pray you have a blessed new year. I pray that y'all are safe, and I pray that y'all continue to take your journey and walk that path that's going to bring you close to the Lord. So I love you all. Thank y'all for being here. Remember, I always pray for me, and I continue back pray for you. And remember, I always watch your back and pray. So I love you all. My Lost Sheep Ministry members, let me know if you need a ride for tomorrow. I'll come pick you guys up. But until next time, I love y'all. And continue to watch your back and pray. Until next time, peace.